Welcome to the Schtick. This is Matthew Seth Ostrove. We have a very special guest, originally from Texas, now finds her home in South Carolina. Please welcome Gigi Knopf. Hi,
Hey, how are
Gigi.
you?
How was your week? I know I saw on Instagram you were heading back. You made a film.
Yes, I actually was doing voiceover for a film that I'm in this summer. So it was a lot of fun, different being in studio. It's different than being on a set. It was an interesting experience, I have to say.
No, that's good. All experiences for an actor are always fresh and new. So you have to be
Exactly.
very adaptive. So my first question is, what got you into acting? What inspired you to join this crazy life as an actress?
So basically, if I'm being honest, I like to think of it as getting in the film industry a little bit like a wrecking ball, to quote Miley Cyrus. So I'd done a little bit of acting when I was in high school many moons ago. And then more recently, I was an actor, I guess you would call it, in a haunted house, which that that's not typical acting, but it is acting in and of itself because you are having to portray a character. So I've done lots of haunted houses and then realized that I love just being different characters. So I really started to get into it in the past few years, and really cut my teeth in haunted houses to start. So that's how I got into this whole thing. But I love it. I love being a character portraying someone else and just entertaining people. To me, it's just a true form of expression and love.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with you too. Why I got into it as well. It's more the entertainment
Yeah.
factor, I think. So the first film that you booked, can you walk us through the experience and what you learned from it from an actor's standpoint?
Yeah, so I've been in lots of films where I was playing minor characters, maybe part of an ensemble. And the very first film that I'm going to be the lead in is the one I'm doing this summer, which is called The Devil in a Sundress.
Cool.
So that has been very interesting because in ensembles, you're not the main focus and you have to, you have a scene, but then you go away for a couple of days, you come back. Well, this one, we're filming it all summer and it's been, days where you have scenes of like maybe 10 scenes and you have to just be able to switch from character to, the same character, but different moods, different expressions. And it's very difficult. Like I had no idea. And it's basically like I'm taking an intensive in acting by doing this film. So I think booking it, I was one of my proudest moments. I was very excited to book it, but I also want to make sure that I do the director proud and that I'm being authentic in my film. So that's kind of the process that I've been following for this.
That's really neat. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So how do you choose the roles that you take on?
That's a great question. I think that it depends on when I read the story. So I don't, I'll be honest, I haven't auditioned a lot. And I think that has to do with the fact that I've been very blessed and getting a lot of people coming to me and not having really to audition at this point yet. I'm sure at some point I'm going to get more into that, but I just like doing small indies because I think you learn a lot from them. So when I read a script, if I can see myself in that character, like drawing on past history, on my memories, on something that might have touched me. I think that's the way that I pick a character. I don't want to be a character just for the sake of being that person, just to say I booked a role. I want to be able to like be authentic to that role. So if I see something that speaks to me, speaks to my heart, then that's going to be the character that I'm going to audition for.
Well, that's neat. So you said you don't have to audition much. People come to you, and that's from your presence from previous work that you've done and just a word of mouth.
I think it is because I will say that I love to network. I think that's one of my superpowers because I like to get to know people. I don't like to just, talk to somebody briefly and then move on. I really like to get to know people. And through that, I've met so many great people in the upstate. In our area, there's a lot of great professionals that have either taken me under their wing, brought me on for different roles. So it's been kind of like people contact me and say, hey, we have this role. Would you want to play this role? And I say, if I can, yes, absolutely. A lot of times, though, I will say that there's little to no pay, but it's also about the learning process. So I think that's how I've been able to be blessed to get a lot of roles. Right now, I'm really busy with this one movie. Fall, we'll see what happens. So far, I have just one film that I'm doing in the fall.
That's really cool. So,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the problems for me and a lot of actors who start off is memorizing lines. So, what is your process for memorizing lines? What do you do to prepare yourself?
Yes, that is really interesting because I've had to do this more than ever for this film, The Devil in a Sundress. And it's literally like so many lines, like 20 pages of lines in one day. So what I discovered was an app called Teleprompter, and I would put my lines in there, and then I would record my lines. So I would actually get with the actor, record my lines, and then time it exactly to the teleprompter. So it's all about repetition. So I would listen, watch over and over, and then it became muscle memory. And then honestly, I could, when I could do laundry and also say my lines, that's when I knew I had it. When you
Okay.
can do something else and then you can still recite your lines.
And that's how you do it. And once you get the lines and it becomes you, you become the character, right? You
Mhm.
don't need the lines anymore. Then you do your emotions. That's really what the
Exactly.
Meisner teaches. It's acting through emotion, pulling up trauma,
Yes,
pulling up something from your life that you can do it instantly.
exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's I have an acting coach. His name is Matt Burke, and he has told me that, when you can know your lines and they're so ingrained inside of you, that's when you can play. And when you can play, that's when the brilliance happens. So I try to just get so focused on the lines, understand them, really understand the lines. That's a lot of it too, because sometimes people just learn the lines, don't really understand the backstory or why people are saying these things. So I try to understand the lines, and then from there I can, play.
Yeah, that's the process. I'm learning it too, quickly, and
Yeah.
that's what you have to do. So interestingly enough, have you ever turned down a role? And if so, why?
I did turn down a role. Well, it was a role that I didn't feel comfortable with because it would require me not being authentic, and maybe it was a little bit outside my comfort zone. So I did turn that down recently actually because I didn't feel comfortable with it. It had a little bit of I don't know how you say it, salacious material, if you
Yeah,
will. And that's just not my brand, and that's just not who I am.
when it
And also
crosses the line of
yeah,
nudity as an actor,
yeah,
it's always in disclaimer. And I
exactly.
haven't faced it myself, right? But I mean, yeah, I can understand where when it comes up and how an
Mhm.
actor has to cross that bridge and talk to their loved ones if they can do it, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly. Well, you want to make sure it's kind of like the written world, but written word, but it's also like when you produce something, you want it to be something you're proud of. And it's something that if your kids or your parents were to see, they would still be proud of you at the end of the day. And I don't want to do anything that's going to cause trauma to my kids. I don't want them to have to go to therapy if they saw something inappropriate from their mom, let's just say. Yeah.
how old are your kids?
They are 20, 22, and 24.
Wow, in the 20s.
Yeah.
I have a 12-year-old who's going on 30. So,
Oh wow. Yeah, I
yeah.
started young.
Yeah, no, and they're all fun. So they're all in college.
Yes, they're all in college. One at Clemson, one at University of South Carolina, and then my daughter, who's the middle child, she's in law school at Wake Forest
Oh,
University.
I
So
see that. I see this on Instagram.
yeah,
Yeah,
so I'm super proud of
congratulations.
her.
So no, none of the kids want to become like mom actors.
No, the boys support me in my acting career. My daughter, not so much, but she's also a great kid. So I try not to do things that make her cringe.
Okay, okay. So getting used to acting, what kind of advice have you received or mentors throughout your life who have helped you? I know you mentioned your acting coach, but anybody else guided you along this process?
Yes, I mean, I have a great community here in the upstate where they have really given me a lot of information and how to really get into this industry. So I have a great network of friends that we all act together, in fact. But I think really it's about being humble and being able to do things that maybe you wouldn't want to be a background actor, but that's a great way for you to learn. It's a great way for you to network. So a lot of times you just have to be just very humble in this industry, just and learn and be like a sponge. So when I go to classes, I see a lot of people a lot better than me, and I try to like learn what they're teaching me. They become my mentors. I will ask them a lot of things. I have a couple of actor friends who I probably bug on a daily basis with questions about the industry, and they are so gracious about it and answer all my questions. So I'm very lucky the community that we built here in the upstate.
Yeah, I have that too in our little city of Winnipeg. So
Yeah.
I wish you come to visit here. Originally, the city was home of Winnie the Pooh. I'll give you the background. We had the National Film Board of Canada in the 1960s. We had Roger Rabbit designed here. We had Snow White. Disney then took it from our from city. We have Sherwood Forest, Assiniboine Forest. So you'll really like visiting here. A lot of directors come here. A lot of Hollywood actors come here to shoot Hallmarks,
Oh, wow.
and they fall in love with the city. uh Judy Greer was here. That you mentioned background. So yeah, when I started in my world of acting, I was graciously enough to be casted by Madlib Casting, and I met her a month ago, Heather Madhill, and she casted my son and I in the Best Christmas Pageant Ever, which was directed by Dallas Jenkins from Colorado. He's the director of The Chosen on Netflix. So he came to our city. It was a huge production. Judy Greer and Pete Holmes was in it. And that's when Levi and I we're sponges, like you said. We were background. We got behind the Hollywood actors. We were moved there, and then that was a great experience. We got to meet the director. We shook his hand. He was very humble, a humble guy, which made the whole film experience better for us. He was just a beautiful man, and like you don't meet a lot of directors like that. But have you worked with any directors that you really, became attached to and they guided you? Have you had that experience yet?
Yes, absolutely. There are a lot of really great directors in this area, a lot of untapped potential. So if you're listening, you don't need to go to Atlanta. You can come here. But two that come to mind that I've worked with recently, Silas Rowland is brilliant. He actually cast me in my first film, which was All That Is Evil. And so that I didn't end up getting to be in the film except for like some background roles, but I actually had a role in that, and then I had to travel to Europe, so I wasn't able to actually be in it. But I've been on other projects with him, and he's just a phenomenal director. And then Collins White is another great director here in the Upstate. So I've learned a lot from them. I've actually dabbled in directing a little bit. It's probably not my cup of tea just because it is so different. You really have a lot on your plate, and you have to wear many hats. And I don't know that I can really do that, in a great way. I need a lot more experience if I'm ever going to do that again. But yeah, I love working with Silas and Collins, and there's a lot of other ones too.
I think once you get enough experience as a director, you kind of just jump in, and
Yeah,
you have to learn on the go, just like acting.
yeah,
You
I
have
agree.
it's a different hat that you wear. It's not like you can't do it. It's whether or not you want to do it, right?
Yeah,
And when you want to do it, then you'll do it when you're comfortable, I think, Gigi, because then you may be a really good one. Because if you can have the empathy towards guiding the directors like the director does to you, then you can probably fit that role in the future. And everybody's told me start with short films, produce and direct the short film and then kind of go, step by step into the life. I can
yeah,
see you doing it
yeah.
the way you
Interesting.
talk. Yeah, you can do it. I dibble dabbled into that too. It's your connection with the actors. It's when because
Mm.
they're all emotionally triggered. So you have to guide them and say certain things to them. I see directors, quietly talking to the actor close. This is my Hallmark experience, watching the
Yeah,
directors what they do. Other directors are, talk to them directly in front of everybody. So there's different styles of directors.
yeah.
When I interviewed Steven Bernstein, he said, never put an actor or crew down. Say you can do
Mhm.
it a different way, not that you
Mhm.
suck, right? That was terrible. And if you do come to that part, you have to apologize. That was his advice
Interesting.
as a director, because he's a director. So that was my question for him. Have you worked with any of the, A-list Hollywood people, actors? Have you worked with anybody who you really liked and admired, or who do you admire?
Well, no, I haven't worked with anyone yet, but I plan to work with an A-lister. I would say my goal is within the next 2 to 3 years. Hopefully it'll happen. I'm definitely going to start reaching out to people, outside of the upstate. I'm getting an agent in Atlanta soon, so
Oh,
hopefully that
cool.
will help me.
So
Yeah.
no agent in Carolinas. You're going to Atlanta.
No, I have an agent currently here, Millie Lewis, Greenville, but we had a discussion and I'm going to be getting another agent in Atlanta, and we're going to work collaboratively together.
because
Right.
Atlanta, as you said, is the new. And I've interviewed a lot of people. Tony was on our
Mhm.
show,
Mhm.
you know, and
It
he
is.
mentioned this too. That Atlanta is becoming the new Hollywood because the cost of production is lower. Just like Winnipeg, we have a
Yeah.
65% tax credit.
65%. Wow.
Yeah, so
That's
if
insane.
you want to make a film in Canada as a director, you have
Mhm.
us, as your disposal because you can save a lot of money. That's why Hollywood comes to Canada because of the tax credits. And Atlanta's the same. It's cheaper than Hollywood. When I was in Tony, he's like, people can rent a coffee spot that they'd spend $50,000 in LA to do, and it's free. In Atlanta, they'll shut down the streets. So they're really
Mhm.
accommodating for film production.
Yeah. Well, and even Atlanta, to be honest with you, I've done some work in Atlanta in some films, but I think Upstate has the same level of talent and lower production costs. So, hey, if you don't want to do Atlanta, just move on over a little bit east to the Upstate, even like Charlotte, this whole area rich with talent. So I don't think you have to be in Atlanta, but Atlanta is right now like the Mecca for everything being done.
Yeah, it seems as that. So in the actor world, like who do you kind of look up to? Like for me, I'll just give you an example. Like I look up to I like Paul Rudd. I love that
Okay.
guy. I like Johnny Depp. I really admire him. Anthony Hopkins. When I watch these films, Pete Holmes is a very funny comedian. It's the first time I met him
Yeah.
was there, and I saw him in this one. Who do you, as growing up, who did you really look up to? As an actor, who do you admire or who do you follow?
So I would say historically, my favorite film of all time is Gone with the Wind. Being a Southern girl, I just really resonated with that story. So Vivian Lee is my number one. And if I could meet her, go back in time, I would absolutely do that. Just who she was iconic and did such a great job in Gone with the Wind. And then she transformed into like this dark character, Blanche Dubois in A Streetcar Named Desire. So I would say her. But now, obviously the GOAT, Meryl Streep. I would love to work with her if I could, just because I believe in iron sharpening iron and being on any set with her, even in the smallest role, I think I would learn so much. So definitely Meryl Streep would be the person I would want to be on set with.
Yeah, I can also see you in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, I would love
You
that.
have that
Oh,
kind of look, you know? The
yeah.
pirate you, the pirate you.
I actually
I
have a pirate costume. So if you know of any pirate,
they're
roles,
fil
let
they're
me know.
they're filming now, I don't know how you get on these on they're filming a new Pirates of the Caribbean and a new Lord of the Rings.
Really? Okay, good intel. Thank you.
So it's
I'm
the
going to go check it
agent,
out.
it's the agents who kind of I'm looking for my own agent too. I think it's someone when you choose an agent for you,
Mhm.
how do you find them or do they find you?
I think it's a little bit of networking. So you find out people that you admire, who their agents are. And so I did find out some people that I trust very much told me who to contact. So when I went to Millie Lewis, we had a great conversation. I felt like they were on brand with me. So I joined with them. But then I realized, they're very much more focused on the commercial side. I want to make sure that I have the commercial as well as the theatrical. So that's why we had that conversation, and they suggested that I talk to someone in the Atlanta. They have an Atlanta partner that I'm going to be working with.
That's cool.
But you
And then
definitely need somebody who's on brand with you. That's the most important thing.
personalities match.
And personalities, yes. Well, and Millie Lewis is the largest. I think they're the largest agent in South Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. So it's great to be partnering with them in
That's
whatever
cool.
capacity.
And then
Yeah.
as you get to do auditions, how do you usually do you have audition techniques or how do you usually prepare for an audition when you get to that point? Because you said you haven't had many, but when you get them, what do you have to do?
Yeah. Well, I know that you can use those teleprompters, and I did try to do that at first, but I just felt like I was leveraging a different part of my brain. Like I was reading more than acting. So that's why I don't audition as much, because I feel like if I'm going to audition, I need to learn my lines. I need to be off book completely so I can play, because that's how I'm going to deliver the best audition. That's why I'm not going to do so many auditions. I'm going to try to, sparse them out so I can really understand the character. But
Right.
that's what I do. I typically learn the lines. My husband is great. He'll read with me. and he'll work with me when we have to do the actual audition and tape with me. So I definitely want to learn the lines before I actually audition.
Yeah. I did auditioning. We have two casting directors in Winnipeg. One is self-tape driven
Mhm.
and one is in person.
Oh, wow.
So that's the difference is so we have to like use our acting coaches for self-tapes. I use John Below. Hi, John. You know, like he's an acting coach, 35 years of experience. My buddy Michael Strickland, also acting friend. Like you mentioned, you find your acting friends. Michael was instrumental in helping me guide, books that I should read. And, I have The Power of the Actor from Chubbuck. I bought that one. And then so that's a good book. What books have you read? Any books that you would suggest?
Um, there was one, and it has to do with lions. My gosh, I can't remember. But Acting Lions, that's what it was. That was the book that I read originally, but I honestly haven't read a lot of books. What I do is watch a lot of podcasts, watch YouTube videos, listen to different people speaking about this on various, TED Talks, things like that. But no, I haven't really read a bunch of books. I think I have ADHD, so it's hard for me to sit down and read a book, to be honest.
I think it's an actor we all do,
Yeah,
right? Because we're like, pew, pew, pew,
I
like
know.
from this,
Squirrel.
this, this. But you have kids
Yeah.
too. I have one. You have three. It's hard. It's a harder life.
Well, I have three kids, but I also have, I don't even want to tell you how many, a lot of fur children.
Pets.
Like people, yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
pets, lots of
yeah. I
pets. They
sent
are
you
my
mine.
kids.
I sent you. So I have like a Siberian forest cat is
I
Mishka,
love that.
and
Yeah,
then I have Leica, who's a Siberian husky.
they're
So
beautiful dogs.
those are two. So they fight like siblings, and then they love each other, and then they fight, and then I have to separate them. It's the same thing. They're just like little animals.
They're so empathetic. They know when you're not feeling well. They love on you when you need a little bit of affirmation. We have the English cream golden retrievers. They're the white golden retrievers, and we have puppies. And they honestly, you can't be sad around them. It's just impossible. They just love on you so much.
Yeah, they're beautiful. They're beautiful animals. The cat sleeps with me in the bed. The dog
Mhm.
sleeps at the door, I think. And then my son's room. It's either or. They don't sometimes she just decides where she wants to go. She's older, like a grandmother dog.
Oh, that's so cute.
But
Love
no,
that.
I thank you so much, Gigi. I think you're gonna get to where you need to go. Just again, we have to just be positive as actors.
Mhm.
Every audition is a job interview.
It is. It is. And you never know when you're going to meet somebody that is going to give you an opportunity as an actor. There's a project that I'm working on right now that's called Regarding the Beauregards. That to me is probably the most exciting thing that I'm doing because that's the one that I'm producing. But we ended up talking, well, I don't want to say any names, but we talked to somebody who is an A-list producer in LA, as well as a Emmy award-winning actor on that project. And so it's really exciting. I think it's going to go somewhere. It's like this story about an eccentric generational wealth family, and you just kind of drop them off in rural Appalachia. And then what happens is just comedic brilliance. It's really a great story. So I think it has the potential to be the next Righteous Gemstones, to be honest.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
what's your opinion? And I'll leave this one. CGI has become a lot in the film industry. What's your opinion of an actor and how do you use it? Whether or not you like it, your opinion about it.
Yeah. So are you saying CGI only or AI too?
Well, both. I mean,
Okay.
there was an actor strike because of AI
Yeah.
in Hollywood, and I understand that one very well. So you can talk about both.
So I think CGI, it's needed, especially if you're doing, if you have lower production availability, production cost availability, because you're not going to be able to have giant sets and have, very expensive sets with lots of set design. So I think there is a place for CGI, but where I kind of see a little bit, I have a differing opinion is on AI because I feel like the creative process is it really is so human driven, and that AI, it will never replicate a human person's thoughts and emotions. So I think there are instances where it's applicable, like maybe to help with organization. Like as a producer, I'm okay using AI to help me organize, how do I organize my script? This is the order, this is a more logical way to do it. This is a good way to do a shot list, that kind of thing. But when you're trying to replicate actual human emotion, I just don't think it can be done, or at least not yet with the way AI is today. But
Yeah,
CGI, I'm a little more comfortable with.
it's just if actors die on sets, which I've never seen them do, it happens that you can
Yeah,
capture their voice to finish the film. I mean, that's where the
yeah,
production, if something happened, because we never know when that can happen in life, right?
exactly. Yeah, that's so true. I mean, it's evolving. I know that I heard that the Atlanta 48-hour Film Festival last year, one of the movies, I think won some awards, actually was done by AI. And
Mhm.
all of the other producers were, vehemently opposed to having it win. But it just depends on what the purpose is. So if there's certain purposes for AI where it does make sense, but then replacing the creative process, I just don't think it could ever be done.
No,
Not yet.
I agree with you. It can't.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, Gigi. Keep me
Thank
posted. I'll
you.
follow you on Instagram and follow your adventure of life.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm just very honored that you asked me to do this. So,
Not a
uh,
problem, not a problem.
yeah,
And
keep,
it's from my heart to yours. It's nice to meet all actors from all walks of life, and get to know people like you do, right? And networking.
yeah,
So
yeah.
one day
I
we'll
definitely want
meet
to come to
and then
Canada.
you
Yes,
can come
please.
visit. Yes,
I
for
want
sure.
to.
For sure.
Yes.
So on behalf of, my podcast, thank you so much, Gigi. You can follow us again, Apple, we're everywhere, Spotify. If you want to start your own podcast, I think you can as well. Gigi, it's fun. It's fun to do these things, and we're everywhere. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Have fun. Yeah, and we'll be in touch on Instagram.
Absolutely. Thank you again.